you grow a sense of appreciation when you look back on how you used to look versus now. Now the bloating I thought was just like temporary because I bloat now, you know. There's a lot of bullying that comes with being a certain size. And I guess I wasn't really well versed on working out and like targeting different areas of your body to lose weight. But there came a point when I could not properly break down dairy or meat products. Hi, I'm Miami. This is kind of my, would I say introductory video to my, probably like an introductory video to a channel. I guess I'm kind of just here to talk about my journey of like weight loss and like confidence and self-love game pretty much. People that don't know me would know that I actually have come a long way with my fitness and my weight loss. I think in total, if I count like all the years like back and forth, I think it's around almost 80 pounds or so, because I was in my late like 170s, and now I'm like 130 something now. I was 110 and then 125. It was a kind of a jump. And then I also did like a few diet changes. I was vegan starting from 2020 till I think probably the end of last year. I don't remember exactly. Yeah, it's the end of last year because it was when I still had my old job. And it was my first time trying a chicken wing in like 3 years. Which has also come with like its weight gain and its like body changes. But right now I'm currently in the gym to gain muscle and to gain back a little bit of there's a pro when you're heavier. I remember there was someone talk about it. It was a YouTuber I used to watch. I don't remember her name exactly, but there's a pro when you're a little heavier, which is like the curves that come along with being a little bit heavier. Those are nice. But the rest of it, like the arm and back and stomach and stuff, for me, no. And I guess I wasn't really well versed on working out and like targeting different areas of your body to lose weight. So I don't think I would have actually. If I look back now and I had the information I do now, I don't think I would have made that same choice of targeting different areas. I think I would have just lost it altogether. Because now I have like I'm not going to say a gym girl build because that's like internet talk. I have a more of a slim athletic build. That's what I have now. I guess my first little words are that I am really appreciative of the way I look now. When I was growing up, I had like fluctuations in my weight from, you know, being heavier to being skinnier to back and forth. No, I didn't have diabetes. That's not the problem. The problem was, and I still don't really know what it is. It was I have like an imbalance of hormones, but it's like in a bad period type of way, but also like weight gain. So I don't do anything that can throw them off too much to the point where I gain weight and get sick again. But there came a point when I could not properly break down dairy or meat products, which back then, I think it was around 2020, which is when I made the choice to first go vegan. I had like my entire face, I remember all my cheeks right here were broken out in like these little clusters of acne. It wasn't even like like a pimple or two. It was like all of my cheek was acne. I remember not knowing why that was, so I spent a lot of time in the doctor. And around that time it was really dangerous because of like COVID and it being new and everybody thinking, oh, you're gonna die from it. So I was in there a lot, but also sparingly. Like I constantly had exams for it, as well as the bloating. Now the bloating I thought was just like temporary because I bloat now, you know. We all do when we eat food and like our body, I'm not sure if it's water retention, like the salt or whatever, but your body bloats. Most people's do at least, especially when you're eating foods that like you have an intolerance or an allergy to. I had a kind of like on the border of an intolerance and an allergy, because whenever I take in certain amounts of dairy, I get like hives, not just on my face, like arms and everything. Like there'd be like little clusters of hives somewhere on my body, but my face was the target, which is really bad because you can't really hide breakouts on your face. It's really hard unless you completely cover up your face, which is, you know, but why would you want to do that if it's not for a religious reason or like a fashion statement? If you're doing it out of shame, it's not fun. I guess having the mask during COVID did help. Yeah, that was around 2020 was when I went vegan. And the only conclusion they could come to was that it was dairy, because I was eating a lot of it at that time. I think I was having like cheese bagels, the French toast with like the white icing on it, which was so good. And not like the dairy-free white icing, but the dairy white icing. And I know because I made it all myself. A lot of cakes and stuff. And now, to be fair, it was like COVID time. I was not necessarily depressed. I was really excited when COVID hit. As sad as it sounds, I went through a really tough time. That was my junior year of high school, and I had lost basically all my friends and a lot of other stuff I'll probably talk about later, but I was eager to get a break. And I thought it would be like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, which would give me time to like restart and resettle and all that stuff. And it was way longer than that. And in that time, I think it was maybe like 3 weeks into COVID was when I was looking at my body and my face and I was like, huh. I don't have a lot of pictures. The ones I do have, I will use though. It was a very hard time to take pictures. Like I do now a lot because I have more confidence in the way that I look and I'm happy and healthy. But back then I did not take a lot of pictures. It wasn't pleasant to look at. I can remember where I took a photo for my doctor specifically of the hives. They were bad and they were red. There was a lot of dark spots because I had a bad habit of popping zits, which you're not supposed to do, especially if it's hives. But these were like hives of zits and they all like had like pus in them and stuff. Like they were, not to be gruesome or nasty or anything, but they were a buildup of something. I knew that because of the pus. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, like not taking pictures or anything. Now I do, not because of like being narcissistic or like egotistical, but because you grow a sense of appreciation when you look back on how you used to look versus now. And also there was a lot of bullying that came with the way I looked. Now I had always had like heavier, there was a point when there's like this term that like goes around which is like thick or curvy. There was a point when I was that, and I think that was end of freshman, beginning of sophomore year, where I was like, this is good. Now I did have like a little bit more of a pooch and like a bigger chest, which was nice. The pooch wasn't like anything crazy. It was like normal pooch for somebody who has like a curvier body. I think I was like 150 at that time. I was on the cheer team. I was in dance. I was doing all this. It was really fun. I enjoyed my body, not in like in a bad way, but like, and I was happy with how I looked. And on top of like the heaviness and hating how you looked, there's a lot of bullying that comes with being a certain size. And I know we see it today, like online when people call people names, or like as soon as they get into an argument, that the first thing they bring up is someone's weight. Yeah, that was my experience. When people look at me now, they're like, no, like you don't look like you've ever been heavier than you are. And I was like, that's good actually, because you don't unsee how you used to look when you looked a certain way, because it's such a I guess crucial, or there's a word when like something stays in your brain, something's like, especially like over time in a memory, there's something that like you just don't forget it, because there's like an emotional memory that comes with it. Like I noticed that now, like for me and for a lot of people, the things you remember the most are things that are tied to strong emotions. Like people remember good events in their life because it was a positive emotion, and that's what they remember first. Like when you remember a memory, you only tend to remember things that really made you feel something. At least that's how my brain works, and a lot of people I've spoken to agree with that statement. But that's a part of my life I'll never forget. So when people say they can't see me like that, it feels good, but it also feels so weird to hear that, because it's like I'll never forget that. People that like would make fun of me for my looks will never forget that either. Especially being like on the cheer team and being a dancer, when I started gaining weight, it was like they already made fun of the girls that were a little bit heavier dancing anyways. I was a different type of heavy. I wasn't just like heavy on the top and like the top only. I evened out until it like got to my like stomach and arms. Then it was like, okay, you're starting to gain weight. But they already make fun of people who are like, if you're like a bigger cheerleader or dancer, you can like watch it on like social media platforms. They will basically like make jokes about the person, even if they're really talented. You could be the best dancer in the room. If you don't look the way that they think you should look, they're gonna make fun of you. So yeah, that was a really hard time for me. I used to always be really cautious about my weight. I remember I constantly asked like if I looked fat in something or super thin in something. But I grew up, probably also talk about this later, in a household that was really bad for me. I actually left not too long ago for that reason, but every part of my weight was like criticized. As if I was thinner, I was too thin. I wasn't pretty being a black girl because you're supposed to have curves. And then when I gained weight, I was too big, and I wasn't pretty then, and no one would want me because this and that. And hearing that from like a parent is like, I don't think any amount of bullying from any people at my school or jobs or anything like that could have ever compared to that. But that's besides the point. I was always really, I'm not gonna say like insecure about my weight. I was always conscious of it. Like I always wanted to be healthy. Like even from a young age, I loved working out because I played tennis. I was a dancer. I was a cheerleader. I did like all those things I did all throughout my life. Like I always worked out and I always wanted to be fit. Like I remember being, how old was I when I like got my like first 6-pack? I was probably maybe 13 or 14. maybe 12. I was somewhere like in that preteen, early teenage when I was like doing sit-ups and abs and like jogging and working out and like eating, and I was a cheerleader. So I mean, like I was like, and I was thinner. Like I had like I remember like having a really small waist in the abs, and I thought that was the best thing in the world. Like I would have given up so much for that. But I remember once it started going away, because I was sick, you know, which is kind of just what it was. Like I was gaining weird intolerances to stuff. It was a really dark time, because as bad as it sounds in this world, especially being a woman and being black, like your appearance is everything, because that's constantly what's being talked about. If it's not from your hair texture to your body shape to how thick you are, how thin you are, how dark your skin is, how light it is, how clear it is, if you fit the exotic black girl trope or the white black girl trope. I was the white black girl, if you can't tell from how I talk, but it was a lot, you know. So that was really dark. I think that was the most hardest part was it all being dark. Not my skin, but like the time in my life. I guess to go deeper into like the changes I made, on top of going vegan, when COVID hit, you know, there was like that craze of like home workouts and like those at home videos, not the Pilates, because I didn't really kick into 2023 or 2022. It might have been 2022 or 2023 when Pilates was like the thing. I take it now. I love Pilates. But like yoga, at home, full body workouts. I did this, I think her name is Mad Fit. I love that YouTuber. She does like this. It was this 30-minute, I think it was a ballet strength dancer workout. Yeah. Dance workout or something like that. I said I danced for forever. I've been dancing since I was 5, and one of the biggest things I trained in was ballet. So I'm a advocate for the fact that ballet will get your body right. Like it is strength based, especially core and like legs, strength based. But and your arms too. Like speaking of being black and like being fit, I always had really like prominent muscles. I kind of still do now, like, but I always have back, shoulders, everything, from dancing, from playing tennis, from cheering. I always had, and from like working out. It was fun to me to work out, but I always had the muscles, like, and they always ask like why. And I was like, one thing I can credit that to is ballet. But I remember doing all those things when COVID had hit, like the workouts and stuff. Once I started like gaining all the weight and I went vegan, I remember it was me and my sisters that went vegan, all 3 of us. And it was a change at first, but I remember, and I think this is something I really love about myself, is the moment I found out from my doctor that I could try going plant-based to avoid those foods to change how I looked, I did it that day. I remember I threw out all the food I had that was like meat, dairy, eggs, all of it was gone. Like I threw it out in this big black trash bag, and I immediately, when we went to the store, I asked, I was like, can I buy vegan stuff? My parents had no idea what that was. I was living with my grandparents at the time. They're from the South and they're older. They're like about to be 80 now. And they had no idea what I was talking about, and they didn't really care. I remember I was asked constantly if I was gonna die because I wasn't getting nutrients. But the other thing I did before like doing that switch was like a few days of research on like how to make sure I'm getting the nutrients I need, like the proteins, the iron, the B12, and all the other like vitamins that are primarily found in plant-based foods from animal-based foods, from plant-based foods, or vitamins or whatever I needed to do. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna die. But I did start losing weight, so much so my grandmother, who would make very crude remarks about my weight, would ask me how I lost weight, like, and how I got thinner and how my skin was starting to clear up. And my hair was also growing a lot. I had already had long hair, but it was growing. And then I cut it not too long after that. I had like this really cute, I think it's a taper fade, and I have curly hair. But yeah, and not only her, but it was a lot of family members that made comments on the weight change for me and my sisters, not only from just eating plant-based, like we weren't eating calories. We were definitely less than before, and I made sure to like count mines and make sure that I was doing that. But also the working out, like I made us work out. They would say I was the remember my sister once told me I was the one that like started all the trends in the house. Like I'm the first one to go natural because my grandma permed her hair like all of her life. We didn't perm our hair, we like constantly had it flat iron. So I had like this long, pretty, with charred hair. And so we worked out constantly, and we made it like a group effort to do it for fun. Like we made it fun. There was dance workouts, there was jogging, there was running, there was, when COVID hit, we would walk along our streets. We lived in a very safe neighborhood. I didn't like worry about being kidnapped or abducted or anything. We would ride our bikes in the summer because that's like around the time it hit. It hit in like March or so, but it was like warmer back then. The change of climate from now to then is insane. But we jog, run, roller skate, play tennis, dance, ride our bikes. I can't remember if I already said that or not. I'm trying to think of anything else we used to do besides. We had at this base, we had like this home gym in our basement. It's definitely been upgraded since then, you know. And since we left, probably not, because I took a lot of my equipment with me. But we had weights in there, we had a treadmill, we had like steppers and all that. Like we had the stuff we needed to do basic workouts and all that stuff. And we had like yoga mats to do like the online workouts. I had a laptop, we had Wi-Fi, you know. But I put in a lot of work to lose my weight. I don't think I can really express to people what the turmoil is of like hating how you look, as well as everybody else letting you know they also hate how you look. And the fact that you're not meeting the beauty standards and you already don't meet them, like the traditional beauty standards, you already don't meet them because of the way you look, like the way I look. I don't think I'm not attractive, but on a global standard, I guess things have changed because we're becoming more modern, I guess. But the standard was long, straight hair and lighter skin and blue eye, green eyes, pretty eyes. Things associated with being white. I know that I'm lighter, but that's just because I'm half Egyptian, not because I'm half white. But on top of that, and being natural and not knowing what to do with my natural hair, if I can find these pictures and I like put them on the screen along with like all the other ones, yeah, not my brightest moment for sure. But not knowing what to do with your natural hair and not knowing how to do makeup and things that suit your skin, because I was still in like that. I remember I had this phase where I was like basically starving myself because I wanted to be thinner, because like I said, I was never like crazy thin. Like I did have curves until I started to like gain weight. But I remember wanting to be this like stick. There was this girl in my class, I'm not gonna use her real name, but I'm just gonna say, let's say her name is Sarah. It's not. But she was like the beauty standard. She was tall, thin, blonde hair, blue eyes. She had this dad. I think he wasn't the mayor. No, because the mayor is, I don't know who our mayor is, but her dad was wealthy, very wealthy. He like donated and supported a lot of programs in our schools and all that stuff. But she was like the it girl. Looking back, not to be that girl, she really wasn't that beautiful. She was just what you were supposed to look like to be considered beautiful. So I remember thinking, I need to look like that. This black girl with brown skin wanting to look like this white girl with pale skin and blue eyes and blonde hair, and was super thin. I never was ugly though. I was never told I was pretty. I never wasn't attractive to men or to, no, that's not it. But that's not enough when you are trying to like fit in. But I was definitely, I'm looking back on my body now. I remember I used to think I was fat. No, I was just thick. but yeah, that's like, I think I've always had like up until recently, I think, and by recently I mean like these past like two or 3 years, always trying to be something I'm not, like when it comes to my body. I remember when I did get thin, I wanted to be thicker because I was black and I was supposed to be thicker. And then when I was thicker, I wanted to be thinner because I was fat, you know? And at that time, because I was born in 2003, we were still migrating to where thick was pretty. Because back then, if someone told you had like try not to cuss, a fat arse, you were ugly. Or that was like an insult. Like you were like, no. But now it's like a compliment. And that's like, when did that happen? Like the 2010s or something? That's a really quick change. But the beauty standard was super thin. And even now in some places, it like, even now like for like models, well, I guess we've also become more liberal when it comes to modeling as well. But if you look at the like original Victoria's Secret models or something, it was still the beauty standard being thin, even in a modern society. But to get to, I guess, the overall of what I'm saying, this is kind of like the transition from the like the bigger girl that's black to like the like fit thinner one. The treatment is definitely different. I can say not only from like of course they're going to talk about like the men and like how they treat you. That's completely different in its own way, but I wasn't shocked by that. But the women, You know how like in those high school movies there's like cliques and stuff? Well, that's real. Like I noticed the types of girls that would flock towards me now to be friends are like the what I would call the pretty popular girls, you know? And yes, I was a cheerleader, but I was a cheerleader who was still sitting with the theater kids and like the like anime kids. I was not sitting at that like, as stupid as it was, even in our school there was still like the groups. Like if you're my age or like close to like a little bit older or a little bit younger, even now probably, in the cafeteria they had these like sections. They didn't make them like they weren't labeled, but the students like subconsciously made them, where there was like the popular kids section, the normal kids, the like nerds, theater kids. I've also been a theater kid for forever, but like I didn't really start taking theater seriously till 20 to 21. But yeah, the way that people would treat you, especially girls in cheer, especially when I stopped being in cheer, which was like a little bit into high school. Even now, the way girls treat me, like they was like, oh my gosh, you're like so pretty and you're so fit. If you told Miami this 3 or 4 years ago, she would have been like, yeah, those are not words describing me. That's what they say now, especially like the girls that are considered like super pretty and super hot. Like I consider myself that, not in a cocky way, but like in a stop seeing other people as better than you way. And yeah. Also, girls tend to be nicer to you. I think it's called the halo effect. People are nicer to you when they find you attractive, whether that's your face, your body, all of it. They're just nicer to you. Men are nicer to you. I guess I didn't really get a lot of not good male attention. Like being made fun of is not good male attention. But I never got a lot of good male attention until I think, where was it? Like my senior year of high school, like until now is when I like started getting male attention, and I was like, I see how I've gone this long without it. Not like in a bad way, but it's like, you know, the main motive is because you're attractive and you're something to devil's tango with. Like, you know, that's the only thing, because being the like fat friend, as bad as it sounds, you watch your friends get flirted with and you can see the intentions of guys, because they didn't feel the need to lie about who they were to get something from you. They were just straight up rude to you. Or they were the men who were nice and like actually treat me like a person regardless of finding me attractive or not, because I'm still a person. Everything. Your motive for being nice to people shouldn't be that you want to sleep with them or get something from them. You know what I'm saying? You should just be nice because you're a nice person. But yeah, no, you watch that and you realize the difference. People tend to lie about who they are or be nicer to you because they find you attractive and want something from you, whether that's an interaction, your body, your time, your attention, something that boosts their ego. But yeah, very different, especially being in college and knowing better. I think that's why I guess was so much of a late bloomer when it came to a lot of stuff, because I watched and I was like, oh, yeah, that's not cute to me. Like, especially the type of guy that would come up to me at times. Now, there were some good guys. Like, it's not that I haven't like dated or had any experience with the guys before, because I have, but I have. Like, there's good and there's bad. I think I can say 95% of it, 85% of it was good, you know? So I do appreciate, like, I don't ever say that all guys are the same guys. There's a specific type of guy. It is hard to see it when you are immediately cute, you're immediately attractive, and you're immediately getting fed with all this attention. You don't have time to sit back and watch. But yeah, I never say that, you know, all guys are, it's harder to, that they're all the same. It's harder to know what type of person, the type of person to avoid until you actually see them or you have an experience with them. That's why I think it's really bad when people say, oh, you should have known better, you should have chose better. If you're an attractive person, as bad as it sounds, people lie to get something out of you. They do. It's being somebody who went through the transition of it, people lie. And it's harder to know that when all you've known is the lies. Like, you didn't really get to see people be like, you didn't get to see people for what they are and not as somebody you're getting this positive attention from. So yeah, I guess I do thank God being able to sit back and watch, because I was not the friend that was getting axed out. I have friends who were getting axed out. Now I'm that friend, you know? And a few of them have like fallen off, I guess, of their, I think it's because you appreciate your looks more when you don't have them, as bad as it sounds. Yeah, the experiences definitely have been different. Being axed on dates, having things bought for you, just, you know, to get your attention, or like people going out of their way to talk to you when they didn't before. Difference, very, very different. I know there's a lot of girls who go through my journey and like self-indulge in it and like have like a really, like I'm not gonna say a time of sleeping around. That's never my thing. I think I was too disgusted with the reality of some things to do that. I think I was just disgusted. But yeah, that's basically the pipeline from fat black girl to fit black girl, and kind of just my journey and the things I've noticed that are really different. I think I'm still getting used to them. You know, like being asked to hang out with certain girls, being hit on and stuff. I think that's 3-4 years out of the 20 years I've been alive. Not 4 years, 2-3 years out of the 20 years I've been alive. Definitely, definitely different. But yeah, you know, I'd like to hear about like other people's experience, even if it's not weight, even if it's like a haircut, makeup, surgeries you got, different things. Like I know there's girls that talk about their like plastic surgeries, how they changed their nose or changed their lips or changed their whole face, and their life was better or different, or they noticed things they never got to experience before. And also, sorry if I talk really fast. I also speak in Arabic, and I try to speak slower in Arabic, but I speak really fast. I think I just default to that to try to keep up with the Joneses or whatever it's called. But if you got this far, thank you. I think it's I like talking about it. You know, it doesn't make me feel weird or bad. It's actually so fascinating to me, and it's my story. A lot of the things your mom would tell you or people would tell you about how you get treated when you look nicer and how people are just jealous of you, I thought it was stupid. It's not. But thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope it's good. I hope you took something from this, or at the very least it was entertaining. And thank you.